Hi everyone, am I audible? Let me check. Hi everyone, am I audible? Yeah, okay. So let's get started. The topic for today is the bacteria, a general study from your chapter Economic Importance of Bacteria and Fungi. So let's have a look at the bacteria and its shape, the structure and how it respires. So every detail related to bacteria we will be studying today. So bacteria, when we mention, so they are so numerous and they are present everywhere. So we will discuss how it is present. Okay. So yeah, so before I start the class, let me introduce myself. I am Vani Kari, biology educator at Unacademy. I am an engineer with bachelor's and master's degree in biotechnology and a B.Ed degree. Also a founder of a startup where I grow microgreens by vertical farming technology. So you can join with us in Telegram for homework and class related notes. So you can join the channel Vani Kari ICSE class 9 and 10. So Telegram channel is Unacademy, ICSE and ISC board. So you can just follow this link in description box. So you will find the link in description box. Okay. So go check out the description box. So this is for your Telegram. And then we will be conducting a free special classes on Unacademy platform. So all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learners app. Okay. So there live real-time interaction using chat and emoji. So there also you have a chat option available. So you can ask the question, interact with the educator, so you can clear your doubt. Then ask questions using the question tab also. Specifically there is a question tab. Okay, so you can attach an image or you can type in your question and then you can send it to the educator. The educator is going to get the notification that the student has or learner has asked the doubt and they'll be clearing your doubts. Okay, and then there will be one second. Yeah, so live poll options will be available. One second. Yeah, so here in this case we will be conducting a poll. Okay, so tomorrow I have a special class on the same chapter, so you can take up the a poll also, poll session I am conducting. So we will be conducting a poll, so completely poll war, like all of the class, whole class might be completely question itself. So since this is at the end of the academic year where you will be getting, so you are having, I think February 2nd week itself your exam starts for class 9, right? So we are conducting a poll war, we are conducting a one shot revision. So in special class you can take a benefit of that as well. And also we will be sharing the leaderboard is nothing but, so once one is competing, so there are a number of students who are competing, so we will be getting this leaderboard, so you can see your rank in them there itself. Okay, so other than that, so Unacademy subscription feature. So if you are going for a plus subscription on Unacademy, so you can learn live from the comfort of your home. Okay, so unlimited access to all the courses. Then top educators of India are going to take the classes for you in one platform, that is Unacademy platform. Regular doubt clearing session will be there and answer writing session. So this is nothing but, so after about every 3 sessions we will be conducting one session. Okay, so this one session is completely related to the doubts, or we will be giving the questions also. So any doubts you have related to the topics that are covered in this previous 3 sessions, so you can ask in this doubt clearing session. Then exhaustive coverage of a syllabus, that means complete coverage of a syllabus will be done. Mentorship and guidance is given. Study material, the practice test, live test series, batch courses. So all to all you will have all these benefits. And other than that, so you will get a benefit of daily practice session, the weekly mock test series, live quizzes, daily MCQ and subjective test series. So you can take benefit of all these. Okay, so this is my reference referral code Vani YT. So if you are going for a subscription, so since now you are in class 9, so if you just want to try, okay, so you can try with this 6-month subscription, or since you want to cover class 10 also, maybe you can go for 12 months as well. Okay, so 12 months, 18 months. So if you are planning to cover class 11 and 12, so you can go for any of these months of subscription. As you can see here, per month there is a reduction in the amount it is getting. So here it is highest, and you know the per month value is getting reduced if you are going for more and more months of subscription. Okay, so it is depending on your convenience. You can go for any of these months of subscription, and while you are subscribing, you can use my referral code Vani YT. Okay, so this is my name and YT is for YouTube. So with this referral code you will be getting 10% off. Okay, so 10% discount you will get if you use this specific code. Okay, so economic importance of bacteria and fungi that we are going to study today. So this is basically a general study related to a bacteria. So to learn the classification of a bacteria and its structure, okay, so we will see what exactly is present. All right, so now moving on to the classification part. One second, or general study part. Okay, so bacteria are most primitive. So why do we say them as the most primitive one? So as you can see, so let's say there is a bacteria now. Okay, so let's say this is a bacteria which is present. All right, and how is the genetic material is present in the bacteria? The genetic material is randomly suspended in here. Okay, so this genetic material, okay, so this is now a genetic material, okay, or we can call it as a DNA also. So without any covering, so there is no nuclear membrane. Okay, so no nuclear membrane is covering, so that is why we call it as a primitive type of a bacteria. That means the old type, the one which existed previously before any other organism. Okay, so here in this case when we mention, so this is now a DNA, okay, a genetic material. There is no covering, and the space where this genetic material is present, okay, so area where this DNA is present, okay, so this area or space, what is there? So that is called as a nucleoid. Okay, so that is a nucleoid, or otherwise it is not a nucleus. Why we don't call it as a nucleus? We don't call it as a nucleus because it does not have a nuclear membrane. Okay, so bacteria are most primitive, so they do not have a well-defined nucleus. They are unicellular, that means they'll have only one cell. Okay, so it is made up of only one cell. So there are, like in our case, so n number of cells are, but when we talk of bacteria, so it is just one single cell. Okay, so bacterial cell contains a single chromosome, that is a nuclear material, which is not enclosed in a nuclear membrane. So this is a DNA enclosed within the chromosome. Okay, so it is a single chromosome itself which is not enclosed. That means it is a prokaryotic organism. Prokaryotic, when we mention what? So prokaryotic is basically do not have a well-defined nucleus. Okay, so do not have well-defined nucleus. All right, any doubt till here? And other than that, the bacteria, when we mention, so they are so numerous and they are everywhere, you know. So now on your skin, if you are talking, so I am not just saying about the bacteria here. So millions and, you know, basically, sorry, not millions, actually billions and trillions of pathogens you can find. So it is basically the microorganisms what we mentioned. So it can include, you know, the bacteria, or it can include the fungi also. Okay, so any of this basically. So now when we mention that, so there are billions of of these microorganisms which are there on your body, so billions of WBCs are formed. So if they take entry into our body, so our body is forming nearly about billions of WBCs each and every day. Okay, so that is, so we get exposed to a lot of microorganisms as we are breathing in this air. So this air will also have some bacteria, some pathogens. Okay, so there are several thousand known species of a bacteria which occur in air. Okay, so we are breathing in that air. So what is happening? Lots of bacteria are entering our body. Okay, and with that, lot of WBCs are also produced in our body, and they are fighting. Okay, so this is basically your body is protecting, that is WBC is protecting you from all these pathogens. Then in water you will find, in soil, in food stuff. Okay, so you can find this, or inside the body of a living organism as well. Okay, so in short, if we have to mention, so they are practically everywhere. So it is just that we don't see because they are unicellular in nature. Okay, and in our own body there are hundreds and thousands of bacteria. So that is what, so now I said, so it is inside if we are talking. Okay, so there are hundreds and thousands of bacteria in mouth. So this is inside. Okay, so if we are talking on the outside, that is skin. Okay, so even after taking a bath, so again you are coming into the air, again you will get exposed to a lot of bacteria as such. Okay, so billions and trillions can be there on the outside, and in inside it can be the in thousands. Okay, so in mouth you will find, and on skin, then inside intestines, one second. Alright, and in genital tract also. Okay, so this one is going to vary. So here the billions and trillions I am saying, so depending on in which condition you are living. So if you haven't taken a bath for a longer time period, then there can be many of these bacteria. Okay, so then genital tracts also can have, so some bacteria occurring in an intestine. So these are beneficial. Our intestines are having a bacteria. Okay, so the intestine, that is the small intestine, large intestine when we talk of, so they are having certain bacteria. Okay, so synthesize certain vitamins, such as vitamin B synthesis can occur with these. So certain bacteria are highly injurious, which can cause a disease, so that we call as a pathogen, but there are others which are highly beneficial. So in this chapter you will be studying about that. Today's session we are just looking at the structure, the shape, the size of this bacteria. Okay, so now when we mention about the size, bacteria are the smallest living organisms. They are very small. Okay, so it is like you can see here on earth, so with an average of 2 micrometers. So what is the meaning of 2 micrometer long? Okay, and about 0.5 micrometer thick. Okay, so this is the bacterial size. Okay, so 1 micrometer is equal to 1,000th of a millimeter. So here 2 micrometer if I am writing, so it is basically 2 into 10 power minus 6 it is. Okay, so 2 into 10 power minus 6 meter, or we can just write 2 micrometer. Okay, so this is 2 micrometer. Alright, so it is when we divide this 2 into these many times, so that is when multiply, and then division is going to occur with respect to them. Okay, so if we are just dividing this one in so many number of tens, okay, so we are going to get a very minute structure. So bacteria, when we mention, it is a minute structure which is actually a unicellular organism, so we obviously cannot see it with the naked eye. So all we need to do is observe them under the microscope. Okay, so microscope is required. So other than that, shape if we are mentioning, so shape wise if we have to see, the bacteria are usually of 4 types. So we will see this one. Okay, I'll explain this just a second. So here as you can see okay, so now this is with respect to bacteria. Okay, the shape which is there. All right, so here round shape. So let's say this is now a spherical shaped bacteria. Okay, So this is spherical, all right. And for spherical, what do we call? So it is a shape called as a coccus. Okay, so this is a coccus bacteria, round shape or spherical. When we mention it is coccus. Now if I am saying that this is a rod shape like this, okay, so this rod shape, when we mention, I'll just write it. So rod, it is called as bacillus. Okay, and then there is this particular structure, so it can be spiral like this. Okay, so spiral, when we mention, so this is actually the spirulum. Okay, so spirulum. And if we are talking that the bacteria is comma shaped, okay, like this. Okay, so in this case, this is a comma shape now. Okay, so this comma shaped bacteria, what is there? So this we call as a Vibrium. All right, so if we have to see them, this is all singular term. Okay, so if many are there, okay, so in a group they are there, so cocci we will mention. Okay, so plural is basically cocci. So this is cocci, this one is bacilli. Okay, so this is singular and this is plural. Okay, bacilli. Then there is spirilla. Okay, so this is spirilla. And then there is vibrio. Okay, so vibrio also we can mention. So these are the terms. Okay, as you can see, this vibrio, spirilla, bacilli, and then cocci. Okay, so this is a spirilla now. Okay, and this is vibrio, as you can see, vibrio or vibrio as well. All right, so this is the case. So we can just write Vibrio over here, all right, or Vibrio also we can mention. So other than that, so if they are two in number, okay, so if they are two in number, then what do we call it as? Diplococci. So you will, it will be asked in your exam. So diplococci, then same way diplobacilli. Okay, so diplobacilli also they can mention. So this is with respect to diplobacilli, diplospirilla, diplovibrio. Okay, so any of these can be them. So this is if they are two in number. So let's say if they are chain. Okay, so if they are forming a chain, or maybe we can see, so here, so if they are forming a long chain, then we call it as a strepto, or if they are in clusters, we call it as a staphylo. So let's see this one. So now this is in chain form if they are arranging. Okay, so let's say this is round, now there is one more round as such. So they are all arranged in chain. So this is a chain of a bacteria now. Okay, so this chain of a bacteria, when they are arranged in a chain, so we call it as a strepto. Okay, so this is a streptococci. Cocci because it is a spherical one. So if it is a bacilli, then we will mention it as a streptobacilli, streptospirilla, streptovibrio also. Okay, now if they are present in clusters, okay, so if they are present in clusters like this, so let's say now this is a structure, that is a round structure, a spherical one. As you can see, they are forming a cluster, so they are not forming a chain like this. Then in that case we can call them as a staphylococci. Okay, this is staphylococci. I hope it is visible. I have written there, let me just check. Yeah, so it is a staphylococci. All right, so now here in this case, as you have observed the shape now, okay, so many bacteria can live single, okay, but some will always occur in pair. So if they are occurring in pair, then it is a diplo. If they are arranging in a long chain, then we call it as a strepto. If they are arranging in a cluster, then we call it as a staphylo. Okay, so this is a staphylo now. So here, one second, so here in this case, what is the thing is mainly, so staphylo when we mention, so this is not with respect to only cocci. Okay, so it can be staphylobacilli, it can be streptobacilli. Okay, so with respect to everything it is going to arrange. So just for example, it is mentioned as a cocci here. So these are the structures as you can see here. So this one is a diplo now, this is a strepto now, as it is forming a chain, and here you can see it is forming a cluster. cluster, then it is a Staphylo. So same way also here you can see there is a Diplo, there is a Strepto here, they have not shown a cluster. So then they are appearing in group, so you can see Diplo again there. Okay, so Vibrio are also present. So this one is much more magnified. You can see this is the structure of a bacteria with respect to Vibrio. Okay, so you know the cholera disease which is caused in case of humans. So there is a cholera, when one has a cholera, an individual is having a cholera. Okay, so in that case, so continuous vomiting we can see. Okay, and also loose motion. Okay, so that diarrhea what we mentioned, so there can be loose motion as well. So this is mainly because of the bacteria Vibrio Cholerae. Okay, the name of the bacteria is called as a Vibrio Cholerae, as it will be Vibrio shapes. Okay, so it will have this Vibrio shape, that means it is comma shaped bacteria. So you can see this is like a reverse comma it is seen. Okay, so now this one is a comma shaped bacteria. Okay, so moving on to next part. So when we talk about the nutrition, so what do they consume? So what do these bacteria, how do they survive? What are they eating every day? Are they cooking on their own, or are they going to, like, it is not cooking exactly, are they going to prepare on their own? Okay, so we are all cooking. So we are heterotrophs. Okay, so we take all plant based food, then we take the animal based food, but we are cooking it. But in case of plants, if we are saying, so they are preparing on their own, so we do not say cooking anyway, so preparing on their own. So with respect to bacteria, when we mention, so most bacteria have no chlorophyll. That means what? So some bacteria are having a chlorophyll. So most of them do not have a chlorophyll, but some of them do have a chlorophyll. Okay, so now depending on ready-made food available from different sources, so that is basically they are going to absorb the food nutrition. It is mainly the nutrition from other organisms, like we are dependent on plants now, we are dependent on animals now. So same the bacteria are also depend on the ready-made food which is available from the different sources. So that is why heterotrophic we can find. So then in heterotrophic, so there are two types. Okay, so now when we mention that it is a heterotrophic bacteria, okay, so there are two types in here. So one is saprophytic. Okay, so saprotropic it is written, so saprophytic also we can mention. So saprophytic or saprotropic also we can mention. Okay, so anything is fine. Alright, and other than that, so there is a parasite or a parasitic. So this means, so this particular organism, okay, so this feeds on dead and decaying organisms. Okay, so this feeds on dead and decaying organisms. I think it is visible. Alright, I am dead and decaying organisms it is. Okay, so I am actually sitting there. All right, so other than that, the parasitic when we mention, so these feed on, okay, so parasitic when we mention, so these actually feed on or feed inside a living organism, on or in, so they'll enter inside on living organisms. Okay, so they are not taking a food from the dead ones, they are taking a dead from the living one. So you know, if we are talking about, so if you have watched any zombie movies and all, so they'll feed only on, parasite is like a zombie if we are mentioning. So bacteria, what is them? So it is feeding only on the living organism. So you can see only they'll attack, so zombies will only attack a living being. Okay, so living human, and then they'll consume the meat, right? So same way the parasite when we mention, so they feed on living organism. So saprophytes when we mention, so they are taking a nourishment only from the dead organisms. Okay, so here other than that, So the bacteria secrete a powerful enzyme. So how exactly do they feed? Okay, so we are saying that so these feed on living organism, these feed on dead organism. So how does it feed? If it is so small now, so how is it going to bite me? So it is not the case. Okay, so we will see this. So bacteria, what do? So they will secrete a powerful enzyme, so they are having powerful enzymes in them from their cells. That is, it is a chotu bacteria. What is that? Okay, so this is a small bacteria. So what it does, it will have certain structures. Okay, so it will be having stored enzymes, or the enzymes can be present in the cytoplasm also. Okay, so enzymes are secreted into the surrounding medium, and then I'll explain it here. Okay, just a second. So let's say this is a bacteria. Okay, so this bacteria is having certain stored enzymes in granules maybe. Okay, so it can be present in granules like this, or in the cytoplasm also. So there can be enzymes. So now these are actually powerful enzymes which are present in a bacteria. Okay, so this is a powerful enzyme which is present in a bacteria. So usually granules are absent. Okay, but in certain cases can be there. Okay, so in cytoplasm itself we can find. Now what do? So let's say I'll change this color, just a second. So let's say this is a dead and decaying plant. Okay, one second. Okay, so now this is a dead plant. All right, so this one is dead and decaying plant. Okay, dead or decaying plant it is. All right, so now here, what do? So they will go on secreting. Okay, so this powerful enzyme, what is there? So that will be released outside. So it is going to secrete this powerful enzyme over there. Okay, and after it secretes this powerful enzyme, so it will start the digestion process. So how does it start the digestion process? It is basically, this enzyme is secreted. So whenever you see a spoiled food, okay, so spoiled food, if you are keeping this food without if you are not keeping this food inside the fridge, you are keeping it open in the air, that is outside, and you forget about it. Okay, so you will find a stinking smell, right? So and also you will find it somewhat liquidy. Okay, so that is liquidy because once the enzymes are produced, okay, so this bacteria will start secreting these enzymes, and all this complex. So here the carbohydrates, this plant will be made of carbohydrates, so it can have proteins. Okay, so outside only the digestion will start, where the carbohydrates are made into the the glucoses, the proteins are made into amino acid. So there is actually solution which is formed here. Okay, so solution like structure, so there is basically a solution is formed here. So this solution is nothing but a absorbable solution. Okay, so this is absorbable, as you can see here. So enzyme make the food material soluble, okay, which is then absorbed. So absorbable solution is made by the bacteria. Okay, so then they will start consuming this food. Okay, so that is how the simple compounds, so after the digestion occurs here, so there is a simple compound which is formed. So then they will absorb these simple compounds inside. Okay, so that is how we will find a liquidy thing whenever there is a bacterial growth, because the enzyme is releasing and they will start the digestion there itself. With the enzyme only the digestion occurs. So same way, so since they are heterotrophic, so they will take the nourishment from the dead and decaying organism. So same can occur, so same thing can occur with the living organisms also. So it is not different. Okay, so living organisms also, it is the same thing, where it is going to take the nourishment in the same way by producing a powerful enzymes. Alright, so respiration, if we have to mention now, so some bacteria respire by absorbing the oxygen. Okay, so we saw the in this case, so some are actually some autotrophic bacteria also we do find. Okay, so some autotrophic bacteria, that means the ones which are having a chlorophyll, so that also we find. Okay, then with respect to heterotrophs, we have two types here. So there is a saprophyte, then there is a parasite, the one which feeds on living organism, the one which feeds on dead organism. Okay, so respiration is basically, so some bacteria respire in presence of oxygen and others do not require oxygen. So where do you think this oxygen is required? So we all use oxygen, right? Where exactly it is required? So if I have to say this, so let's say, one second. So here in this case, so let's say there is a glucose. Okay, so after the digestion, your body is producing a glucose. So what is going to happen to glucose? Glucose is going to get oxidized. Okay, so the glucose will get oxidized, and then there is formation of carbon dioxide, which is a waste product. Then water is produced. Again, this is also a waste product, and then the energy is produced. So this is actually the one we require. So same way in case of bacteria also, so they produce this energy. Okay, so energy, so for their survival, for their metabolic functions, energy is required. So that is why they will take in the oxygen from the atmospheric air, and there are some bacteria who do not require any oxygen. So without the oxygen, so they will survive. So others need no oxygen, that we call as anaerobic. So anaerobic bacteria is, so they are killed, okay, if exposed to the air. So in this case, so anaerobic bacteria, when we mention, so they do not require oxygen at all. But anyhow, so if they come exposed to this particular air, then they will get killed. Okay, so that is intolerable solution for them, I mean gas for them. Okay, so now if we have to check out about the reproduction. Okay, so I hope respiration is clear. So some organisms, so they do not require oxygen. So the ones which do not require oxygen, so what exactly is produced here? So glucose without the oxygen. So this is for aerobic, okay, and this one is for anaerobic. Okay, that means it does not require oxygen. So here an alcohol, okay, so ethanol is produced. All right, with that some amount of ATP is also produced. Okay, so energy is anyway produced, but very less energy is produced here. Okay, and in this case there is more energy production, we can see in case of aerobic. Okay, then moving on to the reproduction part. So reproduction in bacteria is only asexual. Okay, so what is asexual? That means two of the parental gametes are not required. So what happens when we mention about the sexual reproduction? Okay, so there is a male gamete and then there is a female gamete. So male gamete and a female gamete will fuse. Okay, and after that the zygote formation will occur. So that is the product of fertilization. So here in this case, reproduction in bacteria, when we mention, so it is asexual. That means only a single parent who is there. Okay, now this is a single parent. Okay, so there are no two parents are not required. So this single parent itself can produce two of the daughter cells. Okay, so now this is a daughter cells which are produced. So you can see two daughter cells are produced there. Okay, so now this is by means of a fission, or we can also call it as a cell division. So the circular DNA, what is there? So you can see the circular DNA which is here, so that will duplicate. Okay, so now this is a DNA over here. So you can see that there is one black color DNA which is present and a red color. So this is not, the color is not going to change. Okay, so this is just for representing that a double copy of a DNA is produced. cells. Okay, so it will be whatever color it is there, so it will be in the same color. So there is no color change which is gonna occur. So other than that, the cell is gonna expand. You can see that there is a expansion in the cell. Okay, so here also you can see, so there is further expansion in the cell which is there. Okay, so cell is gonna expand and the two DNAs are pulled apart. You can see this DNA is pulled here, the other DNA is pulled here, and also you can see a furrow formation over here. Okay, so then cell consists of cell separating the two cells. Okay, so depending on the type of bacteria, so here in this case, so there is a furrow formation. So this furrow will later on join like this and two of the cells are separated. So depending on the type of bacteria. Okay, so the two daughter cells, what are they? So now this is one daughter cell here. Okay, and there is another daughter cell. So these two daughter cells may either remain attached, that means they can be attached only like this. Okay, so this is basically a diplobacilli. Okay, so this is a diplobacilli now, as they are remain attached. Okay, so if it is just a one, so single, so they are separated, then it is single one. Each one of them can be mentioned as a bacillus. All right, so here with this, one second, let me just check. Okay, so this is not visible with the red pen, right? All right, anyway, I'll change the color later. Okay, so may separate from each other as an independent cell also. So we will see some questions. Okay, so here with respect to that, I'll just draw this and explain. Just a second. Okay, so you know, first the bacterial cell will be there. Okay, so this is the bacterial cell now. All right, so this bacterial cell, so this is the normal shape which was there. So there is a bacterial DNA also, so single circular DNA which is there. So this will be there. Then next step is what? So it will elongate to some extent. So some elongation we can find. So it is going to get bigger, and there is a copy of this DNA which is formed. Okay, so there is a copy of this one is formed, and these DNAs are actually pulled apart. Okay, so both of these DNAs, so in the next one, so let's say here is this session. Okay, so now this is further elongated here. All right, and you know, so one DNA comes over here, the other DNA, what is that? So that comes over here. Okay, so two of the DNAs are pulled apart. Okay, and also there will be a furrow formation which you can see. Okay, so there is a furrow formation that you can see, and as the furrow formation will occur, so it will just continue like this. Okay, so this will continue, and two of the cells, what are there? To some extent they get separated. So like this. So now this is one cell, and they are still attached at some point. So there is another cell having this bacterial DNA. Okay, so duplicated DNA, one more copy, what is there? So that will also be there. All right, and you know, so they can remain attached or they can separate also. So if they are remain attached, so then it is a diplobacilli. Okay, so here what I think I have written bacilli only. Yeah, so if they have remained attached, so it is a diplobacilli. Okay, or otherwise, so if they separate. Okay, so let's say they are going to separate now. So next step, I'll just show this. Okay, so here I'll just write it here. Okay, so now both of them are separated. So there is this one and this one. So this is having its own DNA, and the other one, what is that? So that is also having its own DNA. So this we call as a bacillus, because it is a single unit now. Okay, so both of them, so since they are present individually, so this is a bacillus. So this fission, this function, it is a asexual reproduction. So why do we call it as a asexual reproduction? So because only one parent, so single parent is involved. Okay, so there are no two parents involved here. So now this was a parental cell, so single parent is involved, and from this single parent itself, so there is a division in the cell, and this division we call it as a binary fission. Any idea why do we call it as a binary fission? Because you know, so this cell will divide into two. Okay, so fission is division, binary is two. So the parent, the single cell who was there, so it will divide into two cells, so that is a binary fission. Okay, and in case of sexual reproduction, what happens? So there are actually so multiple or it is basically not multiple, so it is basically when we mention about the sexual, so there is a male gamete. Okay, so there is one male gamete will be there, so that can be sperm if we are talking about the organisms. Okay, then the female gamete is there, so which is an ovum. Okay, so these bacteria are not so well defined or not defined, so it is not well developed, so sexual reproduction is not seen in them. Okay, so even if a sexual reproduction is seen, so it is somewhat different, so not same as this one, because the sexual reproduction type is basically a conjugation. Okay, so if you want to know what exactly is conjugation, so let's say there is a bacteria now. Okay, so this bacteria and there is other bacteria, so there is a plasmid DNA. Okay, so there is a plasmid DNA, this is having, and this is not having any plasmid DNA. Okay, so what it will do is it will form a bridge now. Okay, so it will form a bridge between these two cells now, and it will make one more copy of this one. Okay, so this is going to make one more copy, and that copy which is made, so that will enter through this pili. Okay, so this bridge like structure, what you feel, I mean what you see, so this is actually a pili here. Okay, so this pili, through this pili, the extra genetic material which was there, so that is gonna enter over here. Okay, so there is one more copy which will be formed. So after this is all done, so these two are gonna get separated, so there is a separation which is gonna occur. So this we call as a conjugation, and this is considered under a sexual reproduction itself, as the genetic material exchange is occurring. Okay, but no progenies are formed, no daughter cells are formed here. Okay, so no daughter cells are formed. Okay, so only thing is that the genetic material, that is the DNA exchange is occurring. Okay, so genetic material or DNA exchange is taking place, but not any other than. Okay, so there is no daughter cells are formed, so that is like a false one, so not a true sexual type of reproduction, so this is like a false one. Okay, so not completely the progenies are produced, then we consider it as a reproduction. So let's have a look at some questions. Okay, so aerobic bacteria respire in presence of anyway I don't see your chat. Okay, so there is specifically I cannot see the chat, I am not so sure why. Okay, anyway, so you can type in, maybe if it is seen later, I'll just check out. Okay, so aerobic bacteria respire in presence of, so this is for aerobic, then that means they respire in presence of oxygen. Then which bacteria looks like comma in shape? Okay, so there is a comma shaped bacteria, so there is Coccus, then it is a Spirulum, then it is a Bacillus, or it is a Vibrio. Okay, so it is actually the Vibrio, Vibrio Cholerae. You saw the previous one, I gave an example. So Vibrio Cholerae, what is that? So it is mainly a Vibrio shape. So like this a gamma shape structure, we can find a bacteria. Okay, so parasitic bacteria derive nutrition from, so this is parasite. Okay, so it is like a zombie, I gave an example. Okay, so that means it is taking the food or a nourishment from the living organisms. Okay, so it is not, so you know zombies when we mention, so they do not take a food or from a dead only, so they'll have lot of zombies will be there, right? So they are not taking the food from them. So what is happening here? So food, that is the main consumption of this nourishment what they take, so they will take only from a living organism, so that is with respect to parasite. Now when we mention saprophytes, so saprophytes are those organisms which take the nourishment from dead organisms. Okay, so flagella in bacteria enable them for, okay, reproduction, locomotion, multiply, respiration. Okay, so this is flagella. Okay, and you know, so let's say there is a bacteria, so this bacteria will have a flagella. Okay, so this flagella, or we can just draw the flagella like this also. So it need not be like this. Okay, so flagella can be drawn like this also. So this flagella, what is there? So this is helpful for the locomotion. Okay, so this is helpful for movement. So this is also a flagella now. Okay, so these are the flagellas. Okay, when cocci are arranged, so if the cocci, okay, so you know the coccal bacteria. Okay, so if these cocci bacteria are arranged in two numbers, okay, so we call them as coccus, diplococci, and then streptococci, staphylococci. Okay, so I'll give this poll. Okay, I cannot give the poll here anyway. All right, I'm okay. So this one is actually the diplococci. Okay, so when they are arranged two in number, so it is a diplococci. You know, in Unacademy special class platform, so I can give a poll. Okay, so you will get a chance to click on A, B, C, D option. So here in YouTube it is not available, so we'll be giving you A, B, C, D options. Okay, so you can click on the right answer. So if it is B now, so since the answer is B here, so you can click on B, so that is available. So poll option is available on Unacademy platform. So all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learners app. So I'll mention about this one. Okay, now bacterial cell wall, when we mention, so it is made up of chitin, the cellulose, a peptidoglycan, and a pectin. Okay, so you know the answer for this one is again peptidoglycan. Okay, so you will study about this structure in detail in the further classes. Okay, so what exactly did we learn today? So what have we learned? Okay, so bacteria, so we studied about the bacteria, a general study we saw. Okay, so bacteria on the basis of shape. Okay, so shape, what all did you find? So there is a cocci, there is a bacilli, there is a spirilla, there is a vibrio. So these are the four shapes that you saw. Then nutrition, when we mention, so heterotrophs we mainly saw. So there can be autotrophs also. Okay, so under heterotroph you saw what? So this is for heterotrophic. Okay, so there you saw the parasitic one. Okay, and then there is a other one, that is saprophytic one. Okay, so reproduction, so anyway we saw the reproduction, but the classification of reproduction is anyway not mentioned to you all. So reproduction here is mainly the asexual type of reproduction that you will find in case of a bacteria, and mainly it is a binary fission. Okay, so this is how the reproduction occurs. So nourishment, when we talk of, so they take the nourishment by forming a absorbable solution by releasing a powerful enzyme, and then they will absorb. Okay, so before I end this class, okay, so let me just say about, one second, let me just check if I'm alright. So here okay, so here there is an Unacademy prodigy for you all, that is for class 7 to 12 learners. So you can win scholarships and prizes while testing your knowledge in mental ability. So it is like an aptitude test. Okay, so you can go for this as well. So for class 7 to 12 learners, so you can enroll now for free. So Jan 23rd it was conducted, 29th also, 6th also, and you know, so all these are over anyway. So 13th is coming up, so you can take up this test. Okay, so for this one all you need to do is download the Unacademy Learners app, and there the link will be available, so you can follow the registration link. Okay, so schedule for this one is, this is the test schedule for all the classes. Now you are in class 9 to 10, so all these tests are now already done. Okay, so this is still remaining. Okay, so this you can go for on Feb 13th. So 12 noon you will find this. Okay, so you can take up this aptitude test, and for class 11 12 also it is there, so you can take up those tests also. So exciting rewards in every test you will get. So other than that, is the test on 29th of January and 13th of February. Win a 20 lakh college grant. Okay, so this one you have a chance to win this as well. So this time is still left, so you can take up this test. So for rank 1, the rank 1 is getting MacBook Air, the rank 2 to 3 is getting Apple iPhone, rank 4 to 5 is getting Apple iPad. Okay, so rank 6 to 40 will get Amazon Echo Dot, then rank 41 to 100, so they will get Amazon vouchers. Okay, so scholarship slab, so rank 1 to 10 100%, rank 11 to 25 it is 75%, rank 26 to 100 it is 50% slab. Okay, so for scholarship, then for rank 101 to 200 it is 25%, and 200 to 500 it is 15%. So you can take up this one. Okay, so there are ongoing batches in ICSE class 10 as well as class 9 also. Okay, so class 9 also it is the same thing. So all subject batches there. So delivery of language is Hindi in this one, and the mode of delivery is basically English in champions batch. Okay, so you can choose your preferred language, and so all these subjects are gonna be covered in this batch. Okay, so then we are also conducting a one-shot revision on Unacademy platform. So solve and practice important questions for final exams. So that is for class 9 and 10, 11 and 12 also. So this is started already. So you can take a benefit of this one. Okay, so solve and practice important questions for your final exams. You can also use my referral code to unlock this one. Okay, so VKIC10 is the referral code which is mentioned here. Alright, so how to watch my special class? So my next special class is pole war. Okay, so that is actually tomorrow. Okay, so you can take a pole war on economic importance of bacteria and fungi. Okay, so tomorrow I am conducting a pole war on this one at 4 p.m. Okay, so you can attend this session, that is a special class on Unacademy. So all you need to do is download the Unacademy learners app. Okay, so then you can click on get started, then you need to enter your mobile number, then you can also sign up using your email ID. Alright, then you can choose your class. So there is a competitive exam section, and class 6 to 12 you can choose. Okay, so this one you will be choosing. Then there is option available for ICSE class 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so you can choose any of this. So it is class 9, you can choose which language you want. So whether it is English, Hindi, English, so you can go with that preference. Okay, so then you can click on the next, and you will find, so go to the description box, okay, of this video, then you will find the links there. Okay, then you can also use my code VANIYT, okay, to unlock this particular course for free. So okay, my code is VANIYT. So if you are going for a plus subscription, so you can see here, get in touch with your counselor. Okay, so this is basically confused about your preparation journey, or have queries about the subscription, or want to know about the latest offer. So you are just one call away. So you can call this number. So it is completely 8585 858585. Okay, so you just go on typing 85 until it is 10 digits. Okay, and any queries you have, you can contact here, and you can use my referral code VANIYT there. Okay, so this is my referral code, my name Vani. Okay, YT is YouTube, so you will easily remember this one. So you can use this code to get 10% off on your subscription. Okay, so 10% discount you will get with this code. And any queries also, you can call this number. So download the Unacademy Learners app now and try all of these features for free, and this is the code. Okay, so you can also subscribe to us, that is Unacademy, ICSE and ISC both. Okay, so see you all in the next session. So next session will be day after tomorrow. Okay, so you can join me there on YouTube session also, and tomorrow special class, that is Pole War on economic importance of bacteria and fungi. So you can join in that session also by downloading the Unacademy Learners app. Okay. So see you all then. Bye bye. Take care everyone.